Do you hear me?
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we are here,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
silently sitting and listening you.
Yeah, nobody's asking so far.
yeah, which is a superclass of the class division by 0. Fortunately, I guess there was no microphone available for the live stream. Yeah, that's maybe not good. Okay, since you all are here, maybe yeah, maybe you won't need to watch the session again, but if you have any questions, then you can ask me later. Yeah, because the problem is that unfortunately the microphone was not connected to the stream, and then my voice was not recorded before this point. Okay, so if you have any questions, then you can ask me now, or also you can ask me later. So yeah, then again, let's go back to this approach. Every hierarchy, yeah, so here we have a hierarchy. Yeah, we have the hierarchy of the subclasses and the superclasses. First of all, what I want to point your attention to here is that we have so-called top-down design. In C++, there is such option to define the multiple superclasses. So it means that one class can have multiple superclasses. In C#, there is no such option. There is no multiple inheritance. So that's why it means that for one class, we can have only maximum. We can have one superclass, and for each class, I mean, if the class is not defined as zero, then we can define multiple subclasses. Yeah. So, like in this case, we have the class car and the class bus, and they both are the subclasses of the class vehicle. And again, what I just said, we have this top-down design. So what does it means that we go, like we have one, say one unit of 3, then for each unit we may have some, we may have multiple branches. Yeah. And same as for all the subclasses. That's why we have top, and then we go from top to down. That's why it's called top-down design. Yeah. And yeah, also why it is important, because we have this is a relationship. We can say that car is the vehicle. That would be correct. But we cannot say that vehicle is the car. That won't be correct. Yeah, from question from Alina, and the syntax is subclass, superclass. Yeah, that is the syntax what we can use in C#. In other languages, it's maybe a little bit different. So let me define a new project. Here we have approximately 20 minutes, but hope that will be fine for us. Okay. Let me define a new project under this solution. Okay, let me define it as a console application. Okay. I will add to the current solution, and that would be I will add today's date. Okay, let me create the project. So syntax, yeah, so syntax is shown by Alina, but let me maybe also show it separately. Yeah, so let's say we have one class. Just maybe to make it simple. Oh no, hold on. Let's do it this way. So I have the class program, and Then let's say that I have the class, so just to follow the naming, let's say that this will be my program, which extends the class program. So, and then in this case we say that my program is the subclass of the class program. Okay. So yeah, that's the syntax, and there is no actually way around. Yeah, so what may be a little bit confusing here comparing to other languages, not C++, is that yeah, so that would maybe be a little bit that would be next topic. So let's say that we have the interface comparable, for example. So it means that I need to implement some methods here, so just maybe to not confuse you. Let me maybe so I need some moment. I need to implement compare to. Yeah. So I need to implement compare to. Okay, yeah, remember we can implement such method. Yeah, let me compare public overrides. Integer compare to non-comparable, let's say to so that's maybe not so important what do I want to compare here, but I just want to show you one thing so you're not confused. Later the public compare to, I will compare to my program. And then let's say I return something here. Okay, so now there are no errors. Yeah, so in this case, this may look as the multiple inheritance, but it's not really multiple inheritance. We will talk about the interfaces a little bit later, and then for the interfaces we can let's say inherit multiple interfaces, but that's not the point. What I don't really like in so that's, I would say, from my point of view, this is a little disadvantage of C# comparing to such programming languages like for example Java, because here there is no difference if I extend the superclass or if I implement the interface. Because for example in Java, when I extend the superclass, then there's such keyword like class my program. Actually it is written this way: class program extends program. And then I can say that class my program extends program implements interface. In C#, you can see here there is no difference, and just simply, maybe from some point of view this is also quite logical, but yeah, especially for the beginners this may be a little bit confusing, because this such syntax, such approach actually means that I extend the superclass and I implement the interface. Though there are the differences between the extending the superclasses and implementing the interface. We'll talk about the interfaces a little bit later, but for you just not be confused that we may have such situation when we extend the superclass and meanwhile we also implement the interface. This is not multiple inheritance. Yeah? So let's say that if I try to do the following thing, let's say that I have genius program. So something like that. Yeah, so just use the class, and if I try to do the following thing, so let's say that I comment this section and I try to extend Genius program, that will not be allowed because, as I just said, multiple inheritance are not allowed in C#. Multiple inheritance means that I try to inherit, I try to extend two classes. Yeah. That is not allowed in C#. I can only, in addition to the superclass, I can extend, yeah, maybe let me can do the following thing. And yeah, so maybe I'll write the comment for you, so you can like check this out. So not allowed. That's not allowed. No, I'll say multiple inheritance not allowed. Inheritance not allowed. But this would be allowed. This approach is allowed because here we don't have multiple inheritance. And it implements comparable interface. I think I'll write that there is no multiple inheritance here. So just for you to not confuse you. Yeah. So if we have interface, then it's fine. We can have multiple interface here. In addition to the superclass, yeah, if you want, we can also have only interface. Yeah, that would be also fine. But the key point here is that we can only have one superclass. We can have multiple interfaces, but only one superclass. But they all are defined using the semicolon, using the colon here. Yeah. So, do you have any questions about the syntax?
A small question. Return -1.
This is just for you to show to escape the errors. Because if I don't return anything, that's then that will be a mistake. So just for you to show that
Okay.
now we don't have any errors here. So
okay, thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'll write that it has no meaning. No meaning. Just to escape the errors. Yeah, we'll later on. I mean, we previously, I guess, we used compared to was the reason. Yeah, but we'll maybe take a look on it a little bit later. Since again, I mean, you can also understand from the term, yeah, because again, I hope you already noticed some key. I mean, some key, but I would say the most important thing in programming and in every programming language you are working with, and also it will be the most important thing with all the frameworks, all the interfaces you work in future, that all the namings actually speak for themselves. Yeah, so like you have the keyword speaks for itself. Term also speaks for itself. And as I also said, think about the namings of your methods, of your classes, of your interfaces, because they also should speak for themselves. Like here we have the interface comparable. So basic, and yeah, I also have this template type. So basically, what does this mean? It means that my class, what I define, it implements. Yeah, so we have the interface. We say that it implements the interface comparable. So it means that my class, yeah, so like every object, what every instance that I create from this class, it may be comparable with other object. And in this case, I say that it will be comparable to my program, yeah, because on practice we can also have the situation where we compare two different object types. For example, we can compare, maybe we can compare one, we can compare character to integer, for example. Yeah. We can compare, I'm not sure what we can compare, but yeah, so just let's say we can compare two different types. That will be the option. In this case, I just simply say that I compare my program instance to my program instance. Yes, so this is what I define here. And then it means that my like the object with the type my program, it will be comparable to other object with the type my program. Yeah, it means that I can compare two my programs. Yeah? So like if we have the class person, it implements interface comparable. Then it means that I can compare two persons. So what does it mean? I can compare the objects. It means that I can say which of two objects is smaller, which is bigger, and if the objects are equal. Yeah, if they have equal weight. Okay. This is why I say it is comparable, and this is why we must implement. It's mandatory. Yeah, if I comment out this. Go back. Go back. Come back. Come back. One. So if I comment it out or I delete it, then it will be a mistake because this interface requires this method to be implemented. And this is just a simple method which returns integer number. Yeah, and the method actually also, you see, it speaks for itself. I compare to my program object, and then it can return three values: positive integer value, negative integer value, and 0. If it returns positive value, like usually it's simply 1, 0, and -1, that means that if it's positive 1, then it means that the current object is greater than the object O provided. If the returning value is -1, then it means that the object provided is bigger, larger than the current object, this object. If the value returned is 0, then it means that the object have the same, let's say, weight. Okay. But yeah, so this is just the explanation. What do we have here? But yeah, remember that relationship is A will always be in place. Every subclass, we can say that the subclass is the name of the superclass, but we cannot say that the superclass is and then the name of the subclass. Yeah, vehicle is not the car, but the car is a vehicle. Vehicle is not a bus, but the bus is the vehicle. And we cannot say it vice versa. If actually we have the situation we can say vice versa, then it means that most likely something is not really correct in your design. Yeah. Because normally we should not have such situation. Yeah. So okay, we are approaching the end, but yeah. So let's maybe go through some more slides. Relationship of inheritance has a relationship. So this is I won't say that this is not really inheritance. This is just I would say the membership. Yeah. Or yeah, it has a relationship. It means that like we have the class and we have the members of the class. So in that case, we simply say that we have the class car and we have the members of the car class. The members are the engine and the wheel. So these are the members of the class, and Yeah, also please don't mix them up. Yeah, don't mix these two relationships, because it is really important to understand, because also I won't say my colleagues, but from my experience, some beginners who only start programming, they usually mix these two terms. For example, if they work with like the member, and let's say in this case that's the member engine class, and then they want to apply some inheritance, some concepts of inheritance to this particular class, which is the member of the in this case that's the class car, and then they try to access the protected attributes of the class car, or just do some other crazy things. Yeah. So please don't mix these two things. Just again, every time when we talk about the concepts of object-oriented programming, please try to imagine these things in real life. Yeah. So try to imagine these things in real life and understand, like if you have the car, so imagine the car. Yeah, imagine the car, then imagine the engine. Yeah, so you know that the engine is placed inside the car, and of course the engine, like now you work with the engine as the object. Of course, we cannot access. Yeah, we can access engine from the car. Like if you are inside the car, or if you are next to the car, you can access the car. You can then you can access the engine. But if you are inside, yeah, imagine you are inside the engine of the car, yeah, then you cannot access the the details of the car from the engine. If you are, imagine that you are inside the engine, you cannot access the wheel or other attributes of the car. Yeah, it's simply not possible. So yeah, that's important. And if you just simply imagine these things, then you, I guess, yeah, if you have a good imagination, then it will help you in object-oriented programming. So, do you have any questions about is a relationship and has a relationship? Okay, and maybe let's maybe go through the last slide for today. It's the types of inheritance. So the types are different and they can be mixed. For example, we have a type where we have one superclass and one subclass. So when this approach may be needed, usually it is needed when two classes are used separately, and then we just define one subclass which simply extends the properties of the superclass. Yeah. So in this case, these two classes are used separately, and so usually the need for the subclass in such case is that we want to extend something from the superclass. Then we may have the situation when one class has multiple subclasses. In this case, I would say on practice, this usually means that the superclass itself is, I would say, maybe rarely used, or mostly you will see in such cases then the superclass is not defined as the usual class. In such cases, when one class is used, when there are multiple classes which extend the corresponding class, then in such cases you usually see that the class is defined as abstract class. Yeah? We'll talk about abstraction later, but that would be the most usual case when the class is not defined as the usual class but as the abstract class. Yeah, because and I guess in this case it's also quite understandable that like if we have many subclasses, then the superclass in such cases is only used for the structural definition to define the main pattern, main template for the subclasses. And that's why the class animal itself may be separate. We will want to create the object from this class, and that's why, again, later on we'll talk about the abstract classes. We define this class as abstract classes. So in such case, that would be more more likely that such superclass is defined as abstract class, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. And yeah, then we may have the situation when we have the subclass of the subclass. In that case, again, I would say that on practice it means that all these classes are used, but again, one class extends another class, and then we may need more advanced extension using another subclass. And multiple inheritance not allowed in C#, but if you work with C++, then such situation may be you may face such situation when there is multiple inheritance in C#. You may want to use interface in such case, but yeah, we'll talk about interfaces a little bit later. Okay, so do you have any questions for now?
I think I have
Yeah,
questions about previous slides where it was about this in and
yeah.
other one. Can you explain these two examples regarding using these terms of subclass and
I mean,
superclass?
yeah. In this case, we don't
Yeah,
actually. In this case, we don't actually. Actually, yeah, I'm not sure why.
or we don't have it.
Why is it said that it is inheritance? Because in this case, it's not really inheritance. Yeah, in this case,
Okay.
just for you to distinguish that this is the inheritance. Yeah, since we
Yeah.
have the superclass and we have the subclasses, but in this case, it's not the inheritance. It's just the relationship, and just for you to understand the differences, to not mix up these two terms. Yeah, is a relationship and has a relationship. Has a means that it is one object located inside another object. And
It's they are equal, basically, something like that.
I don't say that they are equal.
No.
It means that one is placed inside another. But for is a, it means that one one object one class extends another class.
Oh.
So, and is a means that subclass, like in this case, that the
But
car,
this car and bus both are subclasses, right?
yeah, they're both the
Okay.
subclass of the
Yeah.
class vehicle, but I mean, in this case, this is the only relationship they have. Like, car is vehicle, so is
Yeah.
a car, it is a vehicle, and bus, it is also vehicle, but vehicle is not a car, vehicle is not the bus, and car is not the bus, and bus is not a car. Yeah, so the only relation is a goes it goes up. Yeah, so it always goes up from the hierarchy. That's why it's called is a. Car is a vehicle, bus is also a vehicle, but not on the opposite or horizontal direction. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So any other questions? Okay, then if not, I will give you the knowledge check. I will then now share it in in chat. Yeah, and so this will be the Word documents. Let me share it here. So that would be the Word documents, and let me time limits, no, as I said, you can do it until the end of today, even maybe, yeah, I will then check it tomorrow, then, yeah, so maybe even until the let's say the half day tomorrow. Yeah, I don't want to rush you, don't want to hurry you. Maybe until let it be even until the midday tomorrow. Yeah, so just keep your, just do it your tempo. Don't hurry. Yeah, so it's I don't want to hurry you here. Yeah, so you have the um, yeah, so from the first until the no, that's yeah, until 13 questions, they are as the test questions, so it means that you need to select the best option for them. Yes, you can send me in Discord if you want. You can also send me via email, just as you want. Yeah, so it's up to you how you send it to me. You should just make sure that I receive it. Yeah, so just any way I can receive it. Yeah, so then simply highlight as you want. You can highlight this way using the pencil, or just you can highlight by simply changing the font color, or just any way you want. So yeah, then here you have the test questions, and then you have a little bit of theory questions where you need to write the answer, explain the answer by yourself. Yeah, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions where you need to describe the answer in your own words. Yeah, and yeah. So do you have any questions about, yeah, so
So we're only filling this test and for today, and
yeah,
that's all.
yeah, that will be it. That will be it for today.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay, we are getting tests and saying goodbye to you. Yeah.
no, I mean I will be available in chat, and I don't see there's the reason for the video session to continue, but I will be available in chat, so in chat you can reach me with the questions.
Which is right. Yeah. Answer.
No, I mean we will talk about this about the correct answers during the, I would say maybe what the uh, most likely it'll be on Saturday where we'll go through the through the test, for this test, and I will take a look on your. I will go through your answers most likely this weekend. But yeah, so just if you have any questions, please let me know in chat then. Okay. So, but I mean, before we finish the video session, do you have any questions? Okay, then I wish you.
Elena had a question in
Yeah.
the chat. She asked what happens if you don't pass the test.
That's just the knowledge. Don't worry. It's not something that you must pass. Just simply for you to. That's mostly for you to a little bit refresh your knowledge to go through, just to go through the theory by yourself, and to simply refresh a little bit here. Yeah, refresh your knowledge here. So it's not like something what will affect your further further studies. Yeah. So just mostly for yourself. Okay, so any more questions? Okay, then I wish you good luck, and if you have any questions, I will be available in chat, and then I will answer, you. Okay, then, okay, see a question from Alina. Yeah, so I see Alina starting. Okay, just let's wait. Okay. It's not goodbye. So I mean, I will still be here in chat. So no goodbye yet. No goodbye yet. I will be available in chat. But, I mean, from the session point of view, then I think we can close the meeting. So I don't disturb you. And any questions, then you're welcome to write them in chat. Okay, so I don't disturb you now. So please focus on the test, and then those of you who won't have any questions, then see you on Wednesday. But those who have any questions, please write them in chat. Okay, so please proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.